all my friends in the Qigong Inner Circle, I'm going to start broadcasting these things to you every week, or every week that we do the meditation. Lama Kemsar has been here for the week, and he's had about 30 to 40 people come to these meditations. Evening talks from 7 to around 9 or 10 o'clock on the power of mantra. The first night was really great. Oh, I got so buzzed, listening to the guru and tuning into that. The second night, I couldn't sit still. Everything in my body hurt. It was just like, oh, I'm in so much pain. And what he talked about, things like death, dying, how impermanent we are, all the things that make us very uncomfortable. Yeah, because things make us uncomfortable, and it definitely made me uncomfortable. So Wednesday night was great. Thursday night, I couldn't wait to get out of there. So Friday there was no class, and then Saturday he had an all day, and Sunday he had an all day. So I was thinking, Thursday night, I'm definitely not going back there. This is the last thing I'm going to do. This is too painful. Everything in my body hurts. This is disturbing my mind. This is disturbing my emotions. This is a very disturbing thing. So I thought about it all day Friday, and I said, it was so disturbing, I better go Saturday and Sunday. So sometimes when we have things that really disturb us, it's worth exploring that, because why would it disturb you? There's no reason that something would be so disturbing. So there's always like a treasure in that. Like before you can open the treasure chest, you got to put yourself in that situation. And and to open up. And although the teachings weren't particularly comfortable, I didn't go there for my comfort. I went there to grow and to open up. And a lot of times when we're doing meditation, we're doing things that we usually don't do. It's not part of our everyday schedule. It's not like we're reading information, because when you're reading, it's this, it's sort of distractive, and you can get. But you have to go inside and start looking at like cleaning your closet. I don't like. Rather not look at that part. I'll put that on the top shelf. We clean our internal mechanism by going in deeper. And when you're working with a master, it forces you to go in even deeper, because the nature of the conversation is death and dying, impermanence, how you orchestrate your life. A lot about karmic acts and what we do karmically and where we put ourselves. I was asked by my Lama years ago to write a book on the dangers on the spiritual path. And he asked me to do this 30 years ago. I went, no dangers on the spiritual path. Then I was reading the 10 non-virtuous acts, and I went, oh my God, I've done every one of those multitudes of times. And sometimes it's like the defilement of the teaching. I have a teaching, I'm the teacher, and you either don't take the teaching, you walk away from the teaching, or you say the teaching's non-valid. So that's a defilement of the teaching, which is, that's a non-virtuous act. And I did that even with my last Lama, is he said, come here now and get this teaching. I said, I don't want to do that. So I had no idea that was not, if it was explained that, or if I did have the foundation, I probably would have gone there. So it's interesting how we do things in our life and how we're presented with different lessons daily. We're always presented with lessons, and a lot of times a lesson will come, whatever it is, and if you passed it or if you didn't immediately. The opportunity passes by, and it was like, darn, I should have gone left instead of right. And I find these types of teachings very confrontive, because they're like in your face. You're looking at your own particular, your own bullshit. So your BS your belief structure, whatever your belief structure is, or particular bullshit that you carry around this big bag, it's when you start to open up the bag and look at it. You know, he didn't point a finger. He just talked about it, and then you internalize it, and you know, and that stuff comes up. And it was a very interesting teaching for me. And like I said, it wasn't particularly comfortable. It was way worth doing. You know, it opened up a lot of vistas, and that's what you're looking at in spiritual work. How do you get a bigger view? I used to live in Colorado, and the nice thing about when you live there, there's mountains. And when you look out, you see the mountain range, and it looks like there's another mountain behind it and another mountain. So you get a different view. And in Florida, we don't have that. And even when you look at it, the ocean looks like it ends. You know, it doesn't, you know, unless there's clouds, but if it's a clear day, it just looks like goes for a while and then it ends, right? I'm sure that's how they have the world flat, because it looks like it ends. You know, from shore it looks like it ends. And how do you open yourself to a bigger view of things? Travel does it in a way. Studying with any type of spiritual leader, and he doesn't teach religion, and he said the concept of the religions of Buddhism and Christianity, you know what Jesus said and what Mohammed said and what Buddha said, and he said, but now he said they all have their own Vaticans. The Catholics have a Vatican, and the Protestants have a Vatican. He said the Buddhists, he said, yes, the Buddhists have a Vatican too. A lot of political stuff. Yeah. So he said, and that's all grabbing. So he said, so what's important is when you study with a teacher, he said you really have to evaluate that teacher. Are they there to take money and to take your energy, or are they there to give and to share? And you know, so I guess we look at that every day when we go into hear certain people. Or you go in and you take this good part and you leave. The meditation that we've been doing, which has no religious connotation at all, it's the breathing technique of breathing down the front and up the back, that I learned from Larry Short, who learned from Swami Rudanandra. And then, you know, as you go through the path, because you're interested in spiritual work, a teacher's speaking, so you go and you sit and you hear the teaching. When I lived in Venezuela, I definitely went to Mass for Christmas. Yeah, you know, it was Dominos for Vision, you know, I didn't go for.
It's to grow.
Yeah, well, I went there. It was very beautiful, and doing this practice where you're running the orbit down the front and up the back, so you can be in the beauty. I mean, I don't understand. I don't know one word in Latin, but it was a beautiful ceremony, and you know, I didn't know what they were doing, but it was just beautiful. It was Christmas Eve, and you know, yeah. So when you have those opportunities to go to those places, it's worth going. What I'm talking about here is Rosita, one of the meditation students. She's going back home to Croatia. And in Croatia, her family has a farm, sort of a farm. They live on a little island, and they have 100 olive trees. So what I'm explaining to her is when she goes back, I want her to hug one of those trees and start to work with it. And here's the explanation. One of the things that I would do is I would find one of those nice olive trees that's been there for years, and I would put my arms around it, and I would drop my roots down and try to connect with that tree that's been part of your lineage for years, and then open up and then do that breathing technique. Pull it down and around, so when you're breathing down the front, around the back, and at the same time pulling up from your legs the roots from those trees, and it will give you an opportunity to tap into your lineage, to your great grandparents, which is pretty cool. Everybody in my family, they're all merchants. My father's a merchant, my uncles were merchants, everybody merchants. They all, bought and sold and, did businesses and stuff like that. So when I decided to become a doctor and go to acupuncture school, it was like a break from the tradition, because my dad said, I worked my whole life with this store to, continue this business. You're going to make a good living, and, you'll have everything you want, and, it wasn't like I had to ever get a job or look for a job. I just, it was just there. He worked his whole life to create it and said, here's what I'm giving. I said, no, I don't want it. He looked at me like I was crazy, absolutely nuts. So when I decided to be a doctor and do this healing work, I went to the graveyard where my uncles and aunts and grandfather, I don't know where my great-grandfather is, but I went there and I talked to him just like I'm talking to you, and I told him what I wanted to do. And I said, and I need your help because I want to move into this new position of doing healings and this work. And I said, the store is there, I could do that, but that's not what I want to do. So I asked my grandmother and my grandfather and on both sides. I asked my uncles for their support. So I did a very traditional thing that you do in Asia, not too much in the West. It's not, you're dead and you're done, and I go to the graveyard and put flowers once a year, for Mother's Day or whatever, whatever we do. So doing the meditation there, I don't know if your grandparents are born or buried on the island or no, but if they are, it would be a place to go and say, hi, looking for a job. This is what I do. And I'm here and I need your support. So you're pulling in your lineage through your ancestors. You're pulling in your lineage through your tree. It's a rare opportunity for you to move into a new part of your life, whatever that's going to be, because you don't know what it's going to be, which is the excitement in life, a new adventure. What will I do now? I got no idea. Establish a space here that's a sacred space to you. You find a space. It can be a tree, it can be the ocean, and you make that your sacred space. And what you do is, if you have a bolivar, you put the bolivar in that sacred space. So then you sort of bring your lineage. Your mother's born or buried in Caracas, so you can't, dig her up and bring her over here. You want that connection with your lineage, well, how do you do that? So you have to invite it here. And so you take something that's very Venezuelan to you. You bring something that means something and you put it, and that's your space. I happen to have a sacred space that's in New Mexico that I visited quite a few times. But if I need to now, I can go there like in the hallways of my mind. You imagine that you're going into an elevator. Push the button and the elevator doors open. You go in the elevator and then you push a button. And then the elevator will take you up. When you get out of the elevator, there's going to be a long hallway with many doors on each side. And you get out of the elevator and then you start walking down that doorway or walking down that hallway. And as you walk down the hallway, you'll eventually come to a door that has your name on it, or feels like your door. And you open that door and you go inside. And usually the room has nothing in it except a chair. And then you sit down in that chair, and then what you start to do is you start to change the room how you want it. If you want windows, you put in windows. If you want a skylight, you put in a skylight. If you want the furniture in a certain way, you make it very comfortable for yourself. And then if you needed to contact somebody, let's say you needed some knowledge, and you wanted knowledge of Albert Einstein. You know, you want some technical knowledge. You would invite him into your room, and then you would have a chat with him. You know, he maybe won't talk back, maybe he will. But what you do is you have a conversation on what you're looking for. Just like you'd go to the internet and you'd look up, you know, relativity, you know, and, you know, what does this mean? You'd ask those questions in your room, and if you needed to bring in another famous scientist, you'd invite them to come, and you'd have like a group there, and you would discuss your problem or what you're trying to get through. Or the same if you're an artist, you know, you would invite Van Gogh to come in and, you know, what do you think of this? And I'm painting with oils, and do you think I should switch to acrylics, or, you know, or should I start doing watercolors? So you put out all the thoughts that you have, and you keep arranging stuff so it's very comfortable for you. Once you've arranged it the way you like it, then you thank everybody, you walk out of the room, you walk back down the hallway, you walk to the elevator, you push the button, you get in, you come back, elevator doors open, and now you're back in your physical. So what you're doing is you're invoking your inner hallways of your mind, and this way you can invite different people to assist you on your project, whatever that project is. You know, whatever you're building right now, or whatever you think you need. I need this, I need that. You need help. So you might not want to pay an attorney $300 an hour, or you know, whatever. But this way you invite these different people, whoever are your mentors. It can be past relatives. It can be, like I said, Einstein. It could be a great composer, an artist. And then as you do that, you sort of get different ideas. And now you're back, and you're out of the elevator, and you're back, and you're doing your life. Let's say in a couple of days, you said, oh, I'm going to go back into the hallway of my mind. You take the elevator up, you go to your, and there's your room just like you left it. And then you make the changes again. So the changes that you're making on the internal changes are definitely changing things in your mind, because you're rearranging things in your brain patterns, and you're asking for things to come in, and you're asking for help. And it makes a big difference on how we rearrange or organize, because if things are a mess in your house, you arrange it, right? You say, oh, the chair shouldn't be there, and this table goes over there, and, you know, I've got to move things around. But it's not often that we take time to go inside and rearrange how we want those things arranged for our development. It's more like a guided meditation than a meditation that we're using. Yeah, I'm gonna say, oh yeah, I need one of those. Yeah. The more rituals you do in your life, the richer your life becomes. You have a Thanksgiving dinner with friends, you have Christmas dinner with family, you celebrate the New Year's, you do a certain ritual. You meditate in the morning, you exercise in the morning, you brush your teeth, whatever it is. But the more rituals you have, the more rich your life becomes, because they're not like things you have to do. They're things that you do because that's your ritual. A little bit about this meditation, and then we're going to do it. Some of the important things: you put your tongue on the roof of the mouth, and the reason why, that connects the central and governing meridian, so the energy goes smoother. If not, sometimes people will get something called Kundalini syndrome. They'll be doing the meditation, they'll start jumping around, and it'll scare them. So when it scares them, then they don't do spiritual work again. They get the wrong view when we talk about, the wrong view. Wrong view is the spiritual work. Instead of the teacher talking them through it and giving them all the pointers, it scared them instead of opening them up. So something scares you, you never look at it again, right? In meditation, you open up to a very deep center, and it scares people if they don't know. So anyway, the tongue's on the roof of the mouth. Put your fingers in Gama, in this position, the thumb and the index finger. Why? Because we're now connecting more centers. We're looking at how do we connect things. You want your feet flat on the floor, your spine straight, your chin's back slightly, and if you can imagine, you're pulling your shoulders out. So if we had, if I got inside and went like this to your shirt, so you're imagining your shoulders out, and the chest is a little bit concave. So it's, it's like if somebody pushed you in the chest. So that goes in a little. The shoulders are out, the chin's back, the feet are flat, the tongue's on the roof of your mouth, and you begin by breathing down the front of the body, like a cooling breath, and then it goes around up your spine, a heating breath. And then as we circulate this, we're connecting the crown chakra with the third eye with the throat with the heart with the solar plexus with the navel with the sex center to the perineum and around. So we're starting to create this vortex of energy. So you create a vortex of energy when you want to pull something in. You're going to Croatia, you're going to see family, you're going to see trees, you're going to see all that. You're running that through, and you connect to beautiful things, and you pull those through your system, and it makes your spiritual digestive system stronger. All right, so we got it? Okay. So let's start with the opening gestures. Okay. Hands are at your chest, thumbs are inside, keeping the little finger and the thumb together as you open the heart. Reaching up, allowing the energy just to fill your body, coming in from into your palms and into the top of your head. And you're really asking for help here. Help to grow, help to learn the lessons, whatever they are. Then the hands go down, you exhale, and allow the energy to come in through the top of your head, down to your navel, bubble up to your heart, and just run out of your fingers any type of tensions that you may have. Hands come back to the chest, a slight bow, and then just put your fingers in Gama Ling, and with your eyes closed, start breathing down the front and up the back. Just open your eyes and continue the breathing down the front and up the back. Sort of let the energy come in like a fog. Relaxing your feet and your hands. Relax your wrists and your ankles, your calves and your forearms. Let your knees relax and your elbows, your upper arms and your thighs. Relax your buttocks and your shoulders, your neck and your tailbone. Just continue doing the breathing technique, breathing down the front and up the back. like we're sitting in a little rain, a little light mist. You're taking it in like you're just getting a little damp from the mist. Just close your eyes. Let your body relax. Just rub your hands together. Touch up the third eye, the throat, and the heart.